Hi, it's Mike Mooney. Some of you might be on the fence about downsizing or unsure about the timeline or the process. I've had the pleasure of working with Ken and Wendy, and they've volunteered to share their downsizing story with us. Ken and Wendy, thank you so much. This won't take long at all, I'm sure. As you guys know, downsizing isn't for the faint of heart. There's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of memories involved. It can be very overwhelming. There's lots of stuff, right? Packing and things like that. And Wendy, you've lived in this gorgeous house for 23 years. You've raised your 3 girls here. How did you know it was time?
I knew it was time to downsize when Ken and I realized that there was a 4-bedroom house with 2 people in it, and we didn't need the things that we always thought we needed anymore. Our children were coming back home, and we realized that this was keeping us from doing the next thing that we wanted to do in our lives. So we figured now was the best time. Going to a smaller spot meant less to take care of, less maintenance, all of those inside and outside things that you realize aren't as important when you have lots of children in the house anymore. So the time was right.
Did you have any fears going into downsizing?
Definitely. How are we going to do it? Where are we going to put this stuff?
Who's going to buy our house? And how are we going to get all of our stuff into a smaller space? And we came to a quick realization that we had to get rid of a lot of stuff too. So, and that was a bit emotional because there's you know ties to furniture and things like that. But
Lamps, a lot of lamps.
A lot of lamps.
Yeah.
And we're leaving a few lamps behind. But we had that process to go through too of what are we going to take, and that was pretty seamless though because we didn't have any arguments on it.
And it's also nice to donate things to people who might be able to use it. We're not using it, so other people that can use it I think is really important too.
And what about the feeling of just being able to like free yourself of stuff? That had to feel good too, right?
Yes, we realized that we had a lot of stuff that we really didn't need.
Well, when we met in early October, we talked about some of those fears, and we talked about the value of this home, but we talked a lot about where you wanted to go, location, the type of home, your must-haves, and I'm just curious as to how you decided on what you guys were looking at, or what you wanted, what you needed, and where you wanted to be.
Well, we knew we wanted to downsize, and then to go along with that, we also wanted the opportunity to be able to lock a door and walk away.
Right.
So we didn't have to worry when we were at the cottage, or even if we were traveling in the wintertime, who's dealing with the snow, who's dealing with the grass. And we knew that we wanted to stick to the Durham area.
Geographically, like I mean, at least this way your doctors stay the same, your dentists stay the same.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
And we realized that the way we knew what we wanted was by going out and looking. So you sent us a lot of different places that we could look, the money we had to spend and where we would get the best value for that money. And that was the fun part.
Yeah.
Because we would go into places and go, absolutely, this is checking off some of those boxes, and then other places we'd say, no, I don't think it's what we were really looking for. So it was an interesting process to understand what it is that you actually really want. You think you know what you want.
Were you scared at all? Did you ever get to the point where you're saying, hey, listen, okay, this is moving too fast, let's slow this down, I'm maybe not ready for this? Or
I've got some friends that have said to me, wow, you know, you go from a big old 4-bedroom house and you walk into a 1.5-bedroom condo or a 2-bedroom condo. Like, you must just look at it and think, how are we going to live in here? Yeah. I actually walked in those doors and looked at it and thought, this is perfect. It's all we need. We don't need all the space anymore. We definitely don't need all the stuff that we had. And it'll be perfect, and you can make it a home. It's you know, it won't just be a house, it will be a home.
Yeah.
But it'll still be big enough that we can keep the things that are important to us. It's big enough that we can have family over and they can stay. It's big enough that we can have Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving. It's big enough that we can do all of the things that really make us a family and are important to us.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I set you guys up in an email program. You were getting the daily listings, and all is well in the world. We were going to put this home on the market in early January. Get yourself the long closing date so you'd have plenty of time to look. And November 2nd, I get a phone call, and
And Mike, I think we found the place.